our topic is the three Ds, direction, discipline, and devotion. And I came up with this some years ago. You will remember the Occupy phenomena. I don't call it a movement because number one, it didn't move very far, and number two, it didn't have the three Ds. Um, I did some. I was not an organizer of Occupy. Like everyone else, I was surprised when it appeared on the scene the way that it did. Um, but once it got rolling, I tried to offer it some steering, and the steering I tried to offer was the years and decades of activism that I had. I saw things that worked and worked in a really amazing way. And I saw things that did not work and didn't work at the level of you've got to be kidding. You actually think something positive is going to happen from your behavior. And I did not um, I was frankly very surprised by the organizers of Occupy in how they did not utilize the expertise of the of those of us who were trying to be helpful. Now, I'm not saying that from the point of view of I am offering you my help, and therefore you should be falling on your knees with gratitude for this. Um, and, so this was not an ego thing for me. I was talking to my friend and collaborator and unindicted co-conspirator, um, uh, Grace Lee Boggs. And some of you have heard me talk about Grace Lee Boggs. And if you haven't, if you Google Grace Lee Boggs, you'll come up with a couple of really nice documentaries that were done on her, plus a slew of the books that she's written. She was a very quiet behind the scenes, but a very pivotal figure in the Black Power movement and the other movements during the 60s. Um, and she was well into her 90s when Occupy came along, but she contacted them and said, you know, I've got decades of experience that I can give you. And um, they told her, well, if you show up to one of the general assemblies, we'll give you 5 minutes. And she declined, as I declined. Oh, um, the organizers down in Los Angeles had an inkling of my experience and asked me to consult with them because they were having problems that were absolutely foreseeable. You knew that this problem was coming down the line, and I helped them to navigate the problem. But Grace said to me, why wouldn't they take advantage of me, close to 50 years of activism? Why wouldn't they take advantage of you with a few less years at the time, but still with experience? And one of the reasons was they had this naive notion that anybody who was not with them was the problem. And it's like, yeah, that won't get you anywhere. So I offered my experience generally. I wrote about Occupy several times, and One of the things I wrote about was something that I came up with was the three main things they didn't have. And I also realized this is the three main things that none of the movements of the um, that came after the 60s had. And that was direction, discipline, and devotion. Now, these are things that clearly the movements of Martin Luther King um, and the Black Power movements, the Stokely Carmichael and Rap Brown and Malcolm X and others had, and made sure they had. These are the three things that we have to have as we are transiting out of the society, the breaker society that we have been um, experiencing for the last, oh, let's say 10,000 years or so. And as we're transiting into something world hasn't seen before, and we are making up literally as we go along every day. We are to the extent possible living a brand new society. Um, I'm reminded of something that Václav Havel, the president of the Czech Republic and the leader of the Velvet Revolution, something that he said. He said, when you wake up in the morning, you are doing whatever you do to get ready for the day. The first thing I do is put my water on for tea, and then I get dressed, and then I get to the bathroom, and then um, and he said at one point in time, you still got some of your pajamas on, but you're getting dressed in your street clothes. He said, you're not ready for the street, but you're also not ready for bed. And so you're in this in-between state. And that's where we are right now, in this in-between state, as we're getting ready to go to um in a direction that we haven't been in before. And so I can't tell, well, I can tell you some of the things that we need in order to get us there. Um, I can't tell you all of the things that we need to get us there because I haven't been there. You haven't been there. None of us have been. We're creating a new civilization, a new way to act with ourselves, to act with each other, and to act on the planet. So, um, uh, so I guess I could say, do the seven things. Three of them I've got written down here, but the other four we'll be working on this as we go along over the next year or two. So the three that I know about, the three that I've got experience with, and the three I've got experience of what you don't when you don't have it, is direction, discipline, and devotion. And I will take those in that order, and I'll spend just a couple of minutes on each one. We could spend literally hours training ourselves on how to deal with direction, how to deal with discipline, how to deal with devotion. But we're not. At least we're not going to do that today. Um, in terms of direction, what I mean is, you know where you're going. And you know what the values of the society are that you want to create, because that's part of your direction. You know what the vision is. And in what we're doing now, and what most of us are doing now in this society, we have no idea because we're trying to create what I'm calling an anti-vision. We're trying to stop somebody else's vision. That doesn't work. Never has, never will. This is the kind of thing I was going to say to Occupy, but we didn't have an opportunity. And by vision, I mean, what is calling your heart? Um, right now, we are being called by our anger. We're being called by the anger of a society that's off the rails, um, that is doing whatever we have an administration that does whatever the hell they feel like doing when they wake up in the morning and call that a policy. Um, we don't like the things that they do, and we are willing to let them know it, and none of that is a direction. Because as soon as they stop doing it, where are you going from there? What um, when the coalition of organizations and people opposing Tsar Nicholas in Russia got together, they looked powerful. They took over the entire country. And then the question was, well, what do we do with it? And that's when they realized the importance of direction. They didn't know where they wanted to go. In fact, they had very firm ideas of going in all sorts of different directions. Okay. There were the folks who wanted to just restore the monarchy. They just wanted a different czar to tell us what to do, and then they go back and plow their fields. They wanted, some of them wanted a religious monarchy. They wanted the church to be in charge of the society. Some of them wanted a United States style um, democracy, with something that the people in Russia had never experienced before. Um, and the ones that won that battle were the ones that were the best organized. And those were the Bolsheviks. And it's not that people understood communism. It's not that people even wanted it. It's that the Bolsheviks were organized and everybody else was not. They knew what their direction was. And if you know anything about Russian history, they had absolutely no qualms about forcing that direction on other people. I am not, shall I repeat, not a believer in forcing a direction or forcing a vision on anybody. If you don't see the value of this, if you don't see the necessity to create a world that works for all, fine, do whatever you want to do. Um, when enough of us come together and recognize creating a world that works for all is a meta vision. There are lots of other visions that'll fit in there. Um, then if you don't want that, do whatever you want to do. Okay. Um, the magnetic quality of the concept of inclusivity, the magnetic quality of drawing us together in consciousness. Um, I believe that it will draw enough of us that we will draw all the other ones, that we will take the air out of the sails of all the other ones, and do that um, inclusively, nonviolently, uh, in a positive connection, etc. So that's our role. Our role is to provide direction to people who in this society at this time are doing are not clear in what their direction is. Say one more thing about direction. Um, I, I was very happy when I heard one of the folks that we deal with um, say, I don't talk about the administration. I don't even call his name because that just gets you into that headset where he is more important than he actually is. And what we have to do, this person went on to say, is focus on what we are doing, not focus on what he is doing. Ta-da! I am heartened by that and recognizing that more and more people are recognizing that. Um, uh, the big demonstrations that were just that they just had a few months ago, the No Kings demonstrations. I I kept trying to look for a vision in there somewhere, and it wasn't. We don't want any kings. Well, he would say that. It's like, yeah, okay, we don't want any kings. And and how are you today? What is the thing that's again calling your intellect, but also calling your heart? It's like, yeah, this is something I'm going to sacrifice for. This is something I'm going to work for. And getting to our second topic, so this is something I am going to be disciplined about. And by discipline, I don't mean the 1960 style military, standing in ranks. I was in the Black Panther Party. Remember doing that in that hot leather jacket that looked so cool on TV, but was not cool when you're standing in the sun in the middle of July in a leather jacket. Okay. Um, I remember this standing in ranks in Philadelphia and saying, somebody didn't think this part out. Um, that what we should be doing is more than our discipline should be more than a photo op. It should be something that goes deep. Um, and I've talked to you before about Dr. King's movement where the things when he was doing a campaign like the bus campaign, um, he would require the demonstrators to be wearing their Sunday best, which is asking a lot because you're wearing your Sunday best and they're going to sick dogs on you. They're going to turn fire hoses on you. They're going to run you into the ground. Then they're going to put you in jail. But yeah, but you have the discipline of saying, I'm not going to dress down to their level. Now think about that when you see the so-called Antifa demonstrators dressed in black, faces covered. Um, it's like, who are you? And why would I ever follow somebody whose face is covered? Um, um, and the other thing that Dr. King did, which I thought was really important, he had them sign a statement of how they were going to act in the demonstration that they were going to do the next day or the next week. Uh, yeah, I will be nonviolent. Um, I will be respectful of people and property. I will be, I I'm going to act like I live in the society I want to create. Now, the folks that go around, breaking the windows, throwing the rocks, trying to set buildings on fire, etc., you ask yourself, what is the nature of the society they want to create? Well, I can see it. I look at, actually, literally, since I live right next to the Lloyd Center, I could look out my window and see the society they wanted to create. And I had a lot of sympathy for them, but it would not create anything. It would not create anything that they want. And one of the things that it created was the present administration. They don't like me saying that, but that's, it's the logical outcome of what happens when you actually make people afraid. Um, and I don't know where my time goes, but it's gone. I'm going to say a few words about devotion. Uh, your vision has to live beyond you. If what you're trying to do, if your vision is getting somebody elected, if your vision is getting somebody unelected, if your vision is too small, it doesn't start the fire that we need to not only recreate our government here in the United States, but to create our first world governing system, and to create that out of the deepest devotion that we have, a devotion that is based on, in Christian based societies, based on the teachings and philosophy of Jesus, in Buddhist based societies, in the teaching and the philosophy of the Buddha, in Islamic facing societies, the teaching and philosophy of lots of people, including and especially, and I say this especially in my book, Creating a World That Works for All, Jalaluddin Rumi. Um, so you get this when you take those three folks and you kind of blend them together, you see a direction. There's a very clear direction there. And it's something that we can be devoted to and devoted to for the rest of our lives. And depending on your philosophy, um, drop dead, come back, and keep doing it. So our challenge is, um, can we be devoted to our path while others are devoted to a similar path, not just yours? Okay. Like I said, I've been in societies, I'm very serious about this, where if I mentioned Jesus, people would say, "Who's that?" It's we tend to think that our beliefs are universal when they are just our little corner of this little planet. And we need to be holding the energy of a world that literally works for all living beings, not just for me and my friends and the people I'm comfortable with. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Thursday morning Catalyst Meditation. Welcome to those who've joined us today. Welcome if there was anyone following on the outline, and so far as I can see, they're not. And welcome to those who have been with us in the past on the Catalyst Meditation but can't join us today. As we normally do, and I'm looking in our list, and I think everyone has been with us before, we do our synchronized breathing for our synchronized centering. And we do 3 minutes of breathing together. And then we do another minute or so of silent centering. So if we can, at this point in time, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, and if we can keep going another minute or so in a silent centering. And if we can come back to our common center, we'll continue with our intentions. As the imaginal cells within the chrysalis come together to form the butterfly out of the disintegrated caterpillar cells, we come together to form a gateway for the meta-consciousness of the mind of Gaia. We act for ourselves personally, and we act as aspects of all that is. The universe is one, is alive, and is conscious. Holonic consciousness is a fundamental aspect of the universe. Every atom in the universe holds consciousness. It is always with us. We are acknowledging this now because many humans have forgotten and many humans have been in denial. We act to reawaken our connection to Mother Earth for the benefit of all living beings. And we acknowledge our connection to all beings. Our oneness includes all humans, including those who have gone before and those who are to come. We are one with all beings who thrive on and in the air. We are one with all beings who thrive on and in the water. We are one with all beings who thrive on and in the earth. We are one with all beings who thrive on and in our bodies. We are one with all beings who thrive on light, the beings of the plant realms. We are one with all meta-beings, including the earth as a living meta-being, air as a living meta-being, fire as a living meta-being, water as a living meta-being. We are one with all colony beings, meta-beings that are collections of solo beings, and that includes murmurations, colonies, schools, hives, pods, flocks, herds, migrations, harmonies, swarms, and other forms of colony beings. We especially acknowledge and honor those beings who are partnered and bound with us, including those beings we rely upon for food, for security, for assistance, and for love and companionship, and those beings who rely on us for the same. And we acknowledge all other forms of consciousness, known and unknown to us. Having acknowledged all beings, we blend all of our energies. May all who are part of Mother Earth be connected to and in perfect health, harmony, and balance with each other and with Gaia for the common good. We are in perfect physical health, harmony, and balance. We are in perfect emotional health, harmony, and balance. We are in perfect relational health, harmony, and balance. We are in perfect mental health, harmony, and balance. We are in perfect spiritual health, harmony, and balance. We are in perfect holonic health, harmony, and balance. We are in perfect spatial and temporal health, harmony, and balance. We are in the perfect place at the perfect time, in the perfect conditions, and with the perfect beings. We set and we energize our declarations. We declare that the universe is one, is alive, and is conscious. We declare that holonic consciousness is a fundamental aspect of the universe. We declare that the earth and all earth beings are one. Together we form a meta-consciousness. We declare that all humans are one. One family, one species, one destiny. Separations are illusory. We awaken human consciousness from all illusions of separation. We declare that humans are colony beings. We deepen and expand our human murmurations, our human harmonies. We declare that Mother Earth is the ultimate governing principle, the way that humans govern their behavior on this planet, replacing all other forms of human governance. This is the way our behavior aligns with the will of the Earth. We declare that Mother Earth is providing all necessary resources to achieve the vision of a world that works for all living beings. We declare that we are creating a political and economic system where all beings participate in it. All beings are in relationship with it. All beings own it. All beings benefit from it. And all beings govern it for the common good. So we'll now meditate within the holonic energy, the energy of Mother Earth. We're listening for any messages that we may receive that we can bring back to others while we're in our meditation. While we're in the meditation, we'll be making any personal requests that we may have. And we'll be deepening and expanding our human experience of our human murmurations, our human harmonies. And we'll do that for the next 8 to 10 minutes, and we'll start now. And if we can come back to our common center, we will conclude with our inclusivity mantra. May I be well. May I be secure. May I be happy. May you be well. May you be secure. May you be happy. May we be well. May we be secure. May we be happy. And may all beings be well. May all beings be secure. May all beings be happy. And so it is, and so it shall be. And thank you for joining us. I saw Esther's microphone um, um, going on, and Esther's also been busy in the chat box where she said, I'm getting my glasses on, in a hermetic or transcendental view, Jesus and Buddha were talking about the same thing. And she put the link for a video in that, and I will see that the video makes its way into the goodie box. But you may want to actually say some more about that, or not.
Yeah,
You can say whatever
thank you.
you say here in reason. Nothing that will get us indicted. Um,
Indicted. Oh no, I'm aiming for unity. There's a common truth, a thread of truth in every belief. And the challenge is to find that kernel of truth that we all share. And Jesus provided the heuristics for that. But I wouldn't say that all Christians get it.
oh,
You know,
I don't think anybody gets it.
well, some of us do. Some of us do. There is a truth, and you recognize it because it it raises you. It forces me to think about my direction, discipline, and devotion. It's what makes life worth living. I attended a UUI cafe yesterday that explored the various names of Jesus. How do you know Jesus here? And I've always thought of him as the Word and the way, the light. He said that the Father and I are one. And in my personal inner experience, that is the holy place of mystery. There's this place up in my mind where there's a door to the greater universe. And when I get myself out of the way, the door opens, and then things become clear. It's why you could see things happening and know that if only they'd do something, if only they'd open up to that.
Right. I,
Yeah.
the thing that I want us to do, to be able to do, is to recognize that there are people on the earth that have no idea what you just said.
I
There
know.
could be people on the call, see you, who have no idea what you said. And we have to um, learn the languages that speak to that person in their time, um, and their situation. I'll give you a very good by the way, Joanne asked a question. What or where is the goodie box? Um, if you may already have it, but if you've got the oops, I that this was I don't know if I copied the right link. I'm going to recopy it here. I copied the right link. I know what I'm doing. Um, and so there are people who wonder about that, but I'm putting the link to our Catalyst meditation outline in the chat box right now. When you open that up, you're going to see Catalyst meditation outline, awakening to the holonic mind. And it's going to, you will see, and I'm watching y'all open it up. This is kind of cool. Now we have a anonymous ibex, and we'll see if we get any more folks opening it up. Um, so you'll see what I read every day, um, except Sunday. Actually, I do it on Sunday also, but just for me. Um, and then when you get to the bottom of it where it says thank you and keep going, you will see what I'm calling the goodie box because nobody's come up with a better name for it. And this is all of the videos that get talked about when we are in our informal discussion. So if I bring up something, I'll say, okay, well, if you want to actually see that, the link is in the goodie box. So Joanne, you now have that. Back to Esther. Um, I I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. I when I tell you that I circumnavigated my Bodhi tree. There's about 1 billion people who will know what that means, and I'll bet you don't. Okay. And so
That I'm new.
yeah, right. So um and by the way, I had a Bodhi tree and I circumnavigated it regularly. Okay. Now,
What does it mean?
ha. So if I'm talking to you, I'm not going to be talking about my Bodhi tree. Okay. Um, and if I'm talking to a, I don't know how to talk to Zoroastrians because I've never read their book, okay? But I know how to talk about the transcendent divine without um offending anybody, first of all, and get helping them get an idea of this thing that all of us are approaching, but none of us can actually get our way to. And to answer your question, the Bodhi tree is the place where um, the Buddha gained enlightenment, and it is a uh, it's considered. I'm about to say something, but I got to think about it before I say it. It's considered an aspect of the Buddhist faith, the way that the cross is considered an aspect of Christian faith. Now, I believe my understanding of Jesus is that his wait. I don't want to get into this. I don't want to get into a religious conversation without preparation and without permission of everybody who's listening. And Esther, you and I can get into it, but not today. Okay. And we will have a deeper conversation but I will announce that as a conversation in advance. Okay, so that those who don't want to hear it can zone out. Those who want to participate in it can get their gear on and and be ready to do what um, they do. I see, and Esther, I think that's an excellent um, question that you asked. What does Bodhi tree mean to you, meaning me, I guess? And I'd be glad to answer that at another point in time. Um, um, and if no one else is signaling that they want to say something, maybe we do it at this time. I don't know. I'm not seeing or hearing anyone. Um, and I'm definitely not seeing anyone with the three Ds. I'm um, thinking that either I um, um, keep talking, or we end really quickly here. Um, um, and excuse me for a second. Um, um, I am having trouble with um, Amazon nowadays. Um, Esther says we fear to offend in our society, lest we offend someone. And I think that that's um, a real situation. I can, I don't know. And we're not talking, there's a difference between this is I'm walking on I've gone from walking on thin ice to eggshells. Um, there's a difference between our spirit, our faith, and our culture. And we have this notion that our culture and our religion are the same thing, and they're not. Um, and um, I am um, I was in a situation. This is a very the situation of women in Islam is very different in different countries. Um, when we generally think about women in Islam, we think about the women wearing the full face chaldors. You can see no part of them. They even have their eyes covered, and you have no contact. You don't talk to them. They're in a whole world by themselves. And um, all the way through to places like Malaysia and in some parts of Indonesia, where women will wear a head covering, kind of like the way that Catholic women wear head coverings. But, that's about the size of it. So I was in Sri Lanka, which again is a Buddhist country, and there's a group of Muslim women that were interacting with Sarvodia. And because I am the pet foreigner, in at Sarvodia, if they have an important group, they trot me out and say, "We want you to meet our pet foreigner here." So, and especially since this was a Muslim group, I did not. I have to get my cues from the group itself. So the first person they introduced me to, I said, "Salam alaikum." And she stuck her hand out, which is a sign that it's okay to shake it. So I shook hands with her. And the next woman stuck her hand out. Okay, so I'm assuming, okay, this is a group from, Malaysia or Indonesia where handshaking is not a big deal. Um, the time I got to the 10th or 12th woman, I stuck my hand out and she backs up about 2 feet and kind of screeches, "I'm a Muslim woman." And I'm like, okay. And what were the other 12 people in front of you? Chopped liver? You know, I didn't say that. You know, but I really offended her. But I offended her for doing something that other folks in the group had no problem doing. Okay. Now, whether we touch or not has nothing to do with anything that you would find in the Quran. It just doesn't. It ain't in there. Um, is it a big deal? Yeah, we make it a big deal, but it's a part of your culture. It's not a part of not religion and not spirituality. Um, this was in the BBC a couple of days ago. The Taliban government was chastising some people for the clothing that they were wearing. And these were all young men. This is the picture that appeared in BBC News 7 days ago. And there's this style of clothing that I would call Beatles style. They were wearing suits and ties, and they had so what we call long hair nowadays is down to your butt, but they had kind of the mop top haircuts that the Beatles had, and these guys are about to get fired up by the religious dogma folks for being non-Islamic, as though wearing a suit and a tie is non-Islamic. Um, it's against this weird culture that the Taliban has created, but it has nothing to do with the Quran. So we have this. Um, so when we are asking for discipline, when we're asking for devotion, we should know that we're not. I have no interest in asking for devotion to any particular culture. Your culture is your culture. Do whatever you want to do, or don't do whatever you want to do. Um, I'm this is the place where my mouth is moving faster than my brain is. I'm about to say, and that also applies to your spiritual beliefs also. Um, if you think that I should go to church on Sunday, well, that's your thought. Okay. And if I want to do that, I'm going to be there with you. And if I don't want to be there, do that, I'm not going to be there with you. And I'm okay with that. And there's lots of folks who believe that their spirituality includes telling me what to do with my life. And I tend to disagree with them. I'm very glad that you were able to come and look forward to doing it again. Talk to you later. Bye. See you.